and a good morning, good afternoon, and a very good evening to you. I've got people of the tube. Hope you're well today. Hope you're feeling grand and all is well in your world. I don't know about you, but today's intro jam made me feel really relaxed and kind of sleepy. Just kind of like, just kind of a bit, chilled out, so to say. Anyway, welcome to A&Q, everybody. Let's get to question one, shall we? Yes, let's go. Okay, so question one today is, do you run your pedals into the front end of your amp or through the effects loop? What's your preference? Okay, so I run all my pedals, apart from one, through the front end. The only pedal I run into the loop is a looper. The reason for that is that you get a cleaner loop. You can run the looper into the front end of an amp fine. There's no problem. I did that for years. I know loads of people who do that. You can get away with it. It's fine. But you do run into problems with levels. When you're running a looper into the front end of an amplifier, you have to tweak levels and stuff like that. I found when you run the looper pedal through the effects loop, you don't have to do that because everything's kind of like, because it's a really clean signal, because the effects loop never breaks up, it's just clean as a whistle. Running a looper through the effects loop and then running all my other effects through the front end makes it a lot cleaner, more defined. Everything's just easy. You know what I mean? I don't have to mess with the levels on my pedals or anything like that, turn things down, turn things up, blah, 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 that kind of thing. Don't have to do that. So that's the only pedal I run through the effects loop. Other than that, I don't really like effects going through the effects loop. That might change at some point, I don't doubt. But I don't really like delays for effects loop. I don't like reverbs for effects loops. I find them a bit too sterile. I like them to come through the front end and be a bit gnarly. But in all fairness, I like my amps. I like to rely on my amps for reverb. I don't need to rely on them for reverb. I have my Zoom set up for it if I need it, but I like to use my amps inbuilt reverb. So if I'm using my Orange, I use the Orange reverb. If I'm using my Katana, I use the Katana's reverb. The Marshall, I use its inbuilt reverb, and so on and so forth. But if I ever kind of like plug into, say, like an amp without a reverb, so like a Plexi, I like to have reverb, and I really love the reverb that's in the Zoom. So that kind of covers me on all bases there. So I'm happy either way. So I like to run all my other pedal effects through the front end. And again, the reason being, for this, that I do have the same reason as why I get all my sound from pedals. I've spoke about that a lot in the past. I'm not going to kind of like dive headlong deep into that. I get all my sound really from pedals, because then if I go to a gig and there's amp backline supplied, no matter what happens, as long as I got my pedal board, jobs are good. Excuse me. And that's another reason why I don't like to run my certain pedals through effects loops, is because sometimes you might get to a gig. Excuse me, I've got hiccups. Sometimes you might get to a gig and the amp you've got might not have an effects loop, or it might have an effects loop but doesn't work. You know what I mean? You don't know. So I'd rather just play it safe and just have everything going into the front end if necessary, and not kind of have to worry about it too much. I do have a looper on the front end of my pedal board. I have it on this board in here that I use. I have it on the Line 6 HX effects. On my other board that I have for recording and general tomfoolery and funness, my smaller board, I have a ditto looper on there as well, and that's in the front end. That doesn't go into the effects loop, and that's just kind of like, just kind of like just the difference really. But I mean, you can run loopers through the front end. No, it's no issue. You know what I mean? You can get away with it, no problem at all. I mean, I did that for years, and I know loads of people who do run loopers through the front end. So it's not a big issue. I just prefer, if I can, to run my ditto looper through an effects loop. But if it's not there, I'm not going to cry. You know what I mean? I'm quite happy to run loopers in the front end. It's just a little preference of mine. But other than that, like distortions, delays, reverbs, choruses, whatever else effects I use, particle verbs, octaverbs, or reverse effects, I like to run that. I'll just run everything into the front end. It cuts down on kind of like leads as well. A lot of the places I play, or used to get to play, they're very tiny. And the last thing I really wanted was to have like lead guitar leads everywhere. So minimal guitar leads, the better, because I would always have a mic go into my vocal microphone. So I'd have a lead go to my vocal mic, then I'd have my power lead to my pedal board, an input and an output to my pedal board, and that was it. So it was just very kind of like neat and tidy, not a great deal of stuff. Like, I don't want to compound the kind of complex craziness of leads by adding another 2 leads to use an effects loop. If I'm on my own doing a solo thing, I did in 2019. I did like a gig where I was on my own. It's on here somewhere. It's on the YouTube, where it's just me, my pedal board, my looper, and my Boss Katana, and the 62 Strat, and that's it. And for that I did use the effects loop. But the only reason I thought I can get away with it is because it's only me. It's outside. The area I'm going to be playing in is absolutely humongous, so I can just get the leads really far out of the way. Because I don't like leads at my feet. I really don't like leads in the way. I like I get a bit kind of funny about like tidiness when I play live or play in general. I don't like leads everywhere. I like things out the way. I like a clear floor space because it just drives me balmy that I'm always afraid I'm going to fall over it, and it just upsets my brain. I know that sounds really stupid, but honestly, it's true. It really does. It just kind of like, I can't. It's like it's just too chaotic, and it makes my head chaotic. And I know that sounds silly, but I like things a certain way, like I'm sure a lot of us do, and so I go out my way to kind of like make things as comfortable as I can, because then at least I know if I'm comfortable, I'm going to perform better. Whereas if I'm kind of worried or kind of something's on my mind, I'm not going to perform to my best ability, because I'll be just thinking about that instead of actually getting lost in the music. So yeah, but as like I said, I definitely prefer running pedals through the front end of an amp. Like I say, personal preference, definitely a looper through the effects loop, maybe another pedal, maybe, I don't know. But might be coming. I don't know. We'll find out. You'll see more if I ever get it. Anyway, we'll see what happens there. But because I have a distinct impression, I've ordered a pedal. I don't want to say too much about it because you'll see it in the vid. I've ordered a pedal, but I've got a distinct impression I might want to run it through the effects loop instead of the front end. It might, because I have a feeling it might work better and sound better through the effects loop because of what it is. And this isn't a pedal that I'm going to be incorporating particularly live, maybe. I don't know. We'll see what happens with it. But yeah, at this point in time, it's I've only been waiting since I've only been waiting about 3 months. Anyway, and it's not even like a hard to find pedal. It's just where I bought it from. Didn't get a anyway. I'm not going to get into that. Anyway, moving along. So like I say, effects loops do have their place, definitely, and they are cool, and I like to run a looper into it. But if it's not there, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. And also, I don't want to have to rely on the fact of I need an effects loop. You know what I mean? Just in case, like I say, there's a gig I have to go and play, and the amp I get there, and there's an amp supplied, and it either doesn't have an effects loop or it doesn't work. You know what I mean? Because the last thing you want is to kind of get to a gig, find an amp there that's got an effects loop, and then the guy says, oh yeah, the effect loop's broken, or you plug into it and nothing happens. I'd rather just play it safe, have everything go through the front end, and keep it as straightforward and as simple as can be, so to say. So yes, so yeah, I hope that's the question. I'm going to move on to question 2 now. Question 2, question 2 I don't really know about. Okay, so question 2 is, have you played any Godin guitars? I seem to think I've played one, but for the life of me, I can't think of what it was. But I swear it was in Old Hat. I swear it was in Old Hat. When I was working there, I swear we had a Godin guitar and I played it. But I literally remember nothing about it, and I don't remember anything about how it played. Which says to me it wasn't... It was either just kind of like, meh, or it just kind of like, it just wasn't, or, whatever. I just didn't get through it. I know they're good guitars. I know a lot of people rave about Godin, and they are good guitars. But I can't say I've played a lot of them and enough of them to actually say what my opinion on them is. Like I say, I could have sworn I've played one in Old Hat, because I remember it being blue. But I could be wrong, and I could be mixing it up with something else. But I'm pretty sure it was a Godin. And I don't remember anything about it. I just don't remember anything about it. So I do apologise on that one. But I wanted to answer this question because I wanted to put it out there to you Awesome people with a tube. So people with a tube, comment section below. Let us know. Have you played any Godin guitars, and what's your experience with them? You know, are they good, bad, ugly? Do they sound good? What is it about them? You know, you like or dislike, so to say. Let us know in the comment section below. Want to know your thoughts. Okay, so because I haven't played enough of them to know. And it'd be wrong of me to say, oh, they're good or they're bad. I just don't know. I mean, I don't remember the one I played. I'm pretty sure it was a Godin, but I don't remember anything about it. Doesn't mean it was a bad guitar. It's just, you know, I obviously just didn't play it enough. It obviously just didn't do anything for me to make me want to go back to it, so to say. Anyway, but yeah, people with a tube, let us know in the comments section below your experience with Godin guitars. If you've had one, or you own your own one, or you've played one, or whatever, let us know in the comments section below. Okay, so we're going to move on to question 3. Okay, so question 3 is, one of your videos keeps drawing me back to it. It's the song Powerless. You put this out on December the 6th, 2020. Would you be willing to tell me some more about this song? And also, could you share what pedals you use? Sorry, one sec. Because I'm clever, I forgot to look up what this one was. One sec, I don't remember it. Let's have a look quick. I'm hoping it's in my songs playlist, because I don't remember it at all. What was it called again? I do apologise, people with you. Bear with me. Powerless. Okay. Oh, there it is. Oh, that one. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So before I talk about what it was about, and why it came to be, I'll tell you what I was using. So basically, he's forgotten again, people with a tube, because he's a clever boy like that. It's gone. Hang on a minute. So for as far as I know, amp-wise, it's the Marshall MG with my battered and beaten Marshall cab. Yes, it is. So it's Marshall MG, the battered and beaten Marshall cab. That's got that cab's got the 2 Celestion Heritage speakers, Marshall Heritage speakers in the cab. Sound amazing. It's only I've got it just set up as a 212 cab, just because if I ever wanted to gig it, it's to save my back and not die horribly of broken back, issues. But yeah, so the amp I'm using is, like I say, about half stack. The guitar is my black Strat. The pedal I was using, I can remember. I don't know how I can remember it. I don't remember how it was set, but the pedal I was using was just my Zoom G5N. That's all it was. I had it just set up. I have no idea how it was set up at the time. It isn't set up like that now. I think I was messing around with it that day because I was... I'll talk about why in a minute. But yeah, it was the G5N only. So it was basically the G5N going straight into the front end of the Marshall, and then just the black Strat, and that's it. There wasn't anything else involved, no other pedals. It was all inside the G5N. I don't remember for the life of me how I had it set up, what I was using or whatnot. I don't remember anything about it. But that's what I was using. So that's that setup for that song. Something a bit more about the song. I mean, the song at the time, the whole idea of the song Powerless. Was it called Powerless? I actually had that sat on my computer. I probably recorded that in March, April 2020. And it sat on my computer until I decided to upload it in December. And because I was like, I don't know what to do with it. I don't know whether to upload it or delete it. Because I've done quite a few of these little videos and little songs like that where I've just kind of like kept them and now I've just deleted them because they haven't... I don't know, there's just something about them. So I've deleted a few in the past where I'm just like, no, I'm not happy with that, get rid of it. But Powerless stuck around for some reason. I don't know why, but it was on my computer for, I say, months, nearly a year, until I uploaded it, like I say, in December when you say. But yeah, because I remember I was, in France when I uploaded it. But what it's about was... It was about the situation we've been like all plunged into last March, the world in general, like, with the pandemic and stuff like that. And the fact it was just kind of running riot and like, then we were put into like, quarantine and lockdown, and We just had to be kind of like shut away indoors, and it was such a weird time, and it still is a weird time. You know, will it ever go back to normal? Who knows? But like, it was such a weirdo time. Like, you know, it was such a strange time, and I just felt totally powerless against it. Like I'm sure all of us did. I just felt like there's nothing you can do. There's literally nothing you can do, and it just felt horrible. And I just remember it really like that the day I recorded that, I was just massively depressed, like hugely depressed because of it. You know, the hood was up. I was just in a really dark place, and I just spent the day just prattling around with the G5N, which I'd got new at the time. So maybe it wasn't March, maybe it was later. I forget when I got the G5N now, but I don't remember when actually I don't remember when I got it. Let's have a look quick. So I'm getting a bit muddled, but it was all about that, you know, that feeling of kind of like just total, like you can't do anything. You got no control over anything. So, oh, there it is. So 9 months ago. Shush. Hope I wasn't copyright music. Give me a date, damn it. 8th of May. So no, it must have been May. Well, it had been around May time. So that actually makes more sense because we've been in quarantine and lockdown for a while then, and it was so it wasn't straight at the beginning. It was, but it was about that. So yeah, that makes more sense. So it's probably about May. It would have been around May time because that's when I had that amp down there. So yeah, it would have been May time, and I think it was just like I say, it was just that kind of feeling of just total. There's nothing you can do about a situation. You know what I mean? There's just nothing. You know, there was nowhere you could go. You couldn't go and see your family. You couldn't see your friends. You were just locked in your house. You couldn't go out except for an hour every day. And you know, we were just at the kind of basically like, you know, the whims of the government, who I'm not gonna make this a political statement or anything like that, who were just useless during the entire thing and still are useless. Just my opinion, but that's as far as I'm gonna go with it. But you know, we were just kind of like left to the whims of them and the virus and stuff like that. And like, as I'm sure a lot of us did, I just felt totally powerless in it. Like, there's just nothing you can do. There is nothing you can do. You just have to sit there and you just have to take it. There's nothing you can do to stop it. There's nothing you can do to make the situation any better. There's just nothing you can do. You are basically done. This is your life now. And it was just kind of one of those things of like, and yeah, that would make sense because I remember around May, June time, quarantine hit me really hard. Like just been locked away. I mean, I remember being locked away for like, you know, May and April, March and April, and I just like had these spells of just kind of like, you know, and also kind of like, you know, last year, still getting over the breakup with me and Joe kind of thing. You know, it was still very fresh in the beginning of last year, so to say. So I had that to deal with as well because I was constantly having to deal with her ghost in the house. You know what I mean? Just constantly living with the ghost of Joe, like, around. You know what I mean? And, yeah, I'm sure a lot of us can understand, like, you know, when you have a long-term relationship and then it breaks up, you know, that person, they stay with you. You know what I mean? Even if you kind of like, you know, you kind of like, you've finished and you're done with it, that person stays with you invariably one way or another and as a ghost, you know, in your life. Which is funny enough what the Duke's Leader song Ghosts is about, but you know, it's not about people who have passed on. It's about people who are still here, but not with you. They're somewhere else. You know, they're like real life ghosts. You know, it's weird. It's not like that supernatural thing. They're just ghosts of your life, your past life, so to say. So I was having a real hard time, kind of like, you know, coming out of a 10-year relationship and then just kind of like been thrust into a global pandemic and being totally alone pretty much all day for months on end. You know, because you couldn't see anybody. And I just remember, like, just feeling totally, like, say, powerless against everything. And that song came about because I just felt so low. And I just wanted to try and channel that emotion into music. I was compelled by music to play that day. I don't remember it. I don't remember recording it. I remember what I was using, but I don't remember recording it. I obviously had some kind of strength of mind to set up the microphone and the camera and actually film it, edit it and you know, obviously later on last year put it up on the tube, but I don't remember I don't remember playing it. I remember exactly what it's about. I remember exactly what I was using, but I don't remember playing it, which is usually the case. And like I say, it was just that. It was just kind of like, me trying to express my, well, everything. My sadness, my loneliness, my depression, my anxiety, my worry, my anger, frustration, everything. I was just trying to get it out instead of it kind of festering within. And whether I did that or not, I don't know. But that's not for me to decide. But that's what that song's about. And like I say, I'm sure we all felt it because we're all thrust into a situation that we have just no concept of how to deal with. None of us know how to deal with this. This technically, in this day and age, I still believe shouldn't have even happened. It doesn't make any sense to me. An advanced civilization such as we are gets our arse handed to us because of a flu virus. Yeah, fair enough, it's a very nasty flu virus, but still. We don't have anything to combat this. It's just weird. It just seems so bizarre. Like, all the technological aspects we've got and enhancements we've got, and then all of a sudden this comes along and all of a sudden that's it. Like, get in your house. You're not coming out. I mean, here we are a year and a bit later and we're still there. Nothing much has changed. I don't know. I'm not getting the conspiracy theories. I'm not doing that. I'm not interested in conspiracy theories on this pandemic, like people say, because it doesn't do. You can't do anything about it. If it was planned, and this is some kind of work of some higher, richer people who just thought, hey, we can, no denying there's been a massive shift of wealth in the pandemic. What was it? Billions of pounds have gone to the richer people over the pandemic, which is a bit fishy to say the least. But again, I'm not doing conspiracy theory. That's actually a fact, actually. So that's not a conspiracy theory at all. That's actually real. Jeff Bezos of the world and people like that. They've made an absolute packet off the pandemic. But even if it was planned, I think, what can we do about it as just normal people? We've got no power. Again, coming back down to powerless. What can we do? What can we do? There is nothing we can do. We just have to sit there and we have to take whatever's dished out to us because we just don't have any options. It's we don't have. I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna stop talking about that. But that's exactly what Powerless is about. That's what that song's about. You just at the whims of people. Most of the time, madmen, lunatics, absolute insane people that if they were in a normal situation would be locked away because that'd be the best place for them. Because they're just psychopaths. But I'm not going to make it a political statement. That's just my opinion on it. That's the way I feel. But like I said, Powerless, that's what that song's about. It's just kind of that feeling of like, and the fear for the future as well. In that of kind of like, you've got no way of sculpting the future. You know what I mean? Like, before this all went, before the world went to absolute, down the U-bend. Well, not the world, humanity at this point in time. It's not the world. The world's fine. The world will always be fine. But before, before the vid, I'm sick of the full word. Before the vid, it's like you could kind of like, you could strive for things. Like next year I'm gonna go here on holiday, or I'm gonna go there on holiday, or next year I'm gonna do this, or next year I'm gonna do that. And in a split second, all that future that people had planned is gone. To be replaced with nothing but uncertainty, fear, anger, frustration. It's just gone. You can't. Oh, I'm going to go on holiday here next year. No, you're not. You're not allowed. When will you be allowed again? It's just like, I do have some kind of belief that the world will return back to some kind of normality or something. I don't know what it will be. We'll see when we get there, kind of thing. But it's just a strange thing. It's just a weirdo thing, and I still just find it fishy. It stinks. Like I say, I'm not a conspiracy theorist or anything like that. But it's dodgy. And again, in this day and age, you'd think we'd have the ability to, you know, you look back at like the Spanish flu and stuff like that, and you're like, yeah, I can understand it. Quality of living wasn't very good at that time. Health wasn't very good at that time. Most people didn't particularly live very hygienically back in that time. But today, honestly, really? Pew, it stinks. Anyway, I'm not going to get into kind of like the whole thing, but that's as far as I'm going to go with it. But he says, but yeah. So anyway, but that's what the song's about. I kind of have to talk about that in a way because that's exactly what the song's about. You just feel like you're like to quote Speed, you feel like you're at a whim of a madman. A whim of a madman. Whatever that is. I don't know, people cheat. I really don't know. But that's what that song's about. It's just that total inability to do anything about the situation you're in. You have to just sit there. You have to grin and bear it because there's nothing else you can do about it other than that. This is your lot. Deal with it. I don't want it. Don't care. Deal with it. That's just what it is. It just feels weird to me. It feels a bit broken. Like I say, in this day and age, it feels broken. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a guitarist. Anyway, that's what the song's Powerless is about. That's what I was using, and like I say, it's just all about that. So anyway, I'm gonna move on to final question of the day, PeopleTube. Question 4 now, before I get more depressed. Okay, so question 4 is which loop pedal with a drum machine would you recommend that's affordable? I don't know because I don't use a drum machine looper. If that makes any sense. Like, I don't have a looper with a drum machine in, but my drums come from my Zoom G2.1U pedal, and the looper I use is a Ditto Looper X2. But Boss have a pedal, don't they? The Boss have got a looper pedal with inbuilt rhythms. I forget what it's called though, but it looks ace, and I want one. And I'm going to buy one when I can afford to buy one. Definitely going to afford to. As soon as I can afford to buy one of these, I'm buying one because I think it'd be awesome. And it'd be nice to have some different beats as well. So I like the idea of it. And I keep seeing Pete on Anderton's channel using it, and I like it. Sounds wicked. He did one the other while back with the new harmony guitars with a reggae beat, and it sounded immense. And I was like, I just want that because it's got a few more. It'll add a bit more to like the G2. I'll still use the G2, I'm sure, but like it's just something a bit different. You know what I mean? And so when I can afford to, I'm going to buy the Boss looper with a drum machine in it. I don't know what it's called though because I'm not very clever with these things. I always forget. Like, let's just have a quick googly. Okay, yeah. So it's the Boss RC10. It's quite expensive though. That's the only issue. That's it. I mean, if you're after a budget looper, I mean, there's the Ditto. The Ditto, the small Ditto looper, but it doesn't have drums in it. It's just a looper. It doesn't have anything else. I mean, my personal favourite looper is the Ditto X2. That's what I always used. It was given to me by my awesome friend Richard, and I've used it ever since he got it. And it's one of those pedals. It's like quite a lot of my pedals. If it broke, I would just buy another one. I wouldn't look for anything else. I would just buy another one of those. But I really want to get that Boss pedal at some point. I'm gonna, as soon as I can afford to buy it, I'm gonna buy it, and I'm looking forward to that because that'd be another pedal I'd run through the effects loop. To come back to question 1 quick, that'd be another pedal that would go with Ditto looper into the effects loop. I think it'd be cool I reckon it'd work better in the effects loop and front end, but we'll find out because I will be getting one at some point. Okay, so so which loop pedal would I recommend with a drum machine? Like I said, I don't know of any others with a drum machine. So people with a tube, I call for your help here. Does anybody else know of an affordable looper with a drum machine built into it? Because I can't think of any off the top of my head. I can think of like some multi-effects units like the G5N, the Zoom G5N, that has a drum machine in it with a looper bit in it. But in all fairness, it doesn't work very well. I don't think I reckon it's a bad design personally in the G5N to use the drums and the looper. The looper's good, the drums are not because they they just don't sound very good. The G2.1U is definitely better because of where the drum machine is in the pedal. The G5N's got some big faults, and drums are one of them, and the scroll function's another. But anyway, but I still loved that pedal. Anyway, people of the tube, I asked for your help here. What drum machine? Yeah, with loop pedal with a drum machine, affordable. Let us know in the comment section below if there is any other than the Boss, because I can't think of any. So help us out in the comment section below. Let us know. Okay, so you also asked, do you think the Crybaby original is a good wah-wah pedal? Personally, I don't like Crybabies. I have one here. That was my first ever proper wah-wah pedal. Because before that, I was using the Zoom 606, which is in there. Silver plastic pedal, and it had an expression pedal inside. That was what I was using. But I saved up for like months to buy the Crybaby. I think the Crybaby, when I bought it, was like, I want to say 60 quid, but it was definitely less than that. Or was it 60 quid? I can't remember how much this was. But anyway, I bought that because I heard Slash used a Crybaby and Kirk Hammett used a Crybaby. I really wanted to know at the time. I remember actually wanting to know what wah pedal John Frusciante used, obviously. And I found out in the magazine it was an Ibanez WH10, but no one could tell me what that was or if it was a current pedal, and obviously I never found one. And it wasn't until obviously and I didn't have the internet at the time, so it wasn't one of those things. So I just couldn't go online and look up the history of it. So I just went the Crybaby route, and I used this one for ages. Actually, I used that Crybaby for, let's think, up until 2006, 2007. So I bought that in 2003. Yes, 2003. Just making sure. So yeah, I bought that in 2003. Used it up to 2006, 2007. So good while I used that for. But then I remember, then I found out that Jimi Hendrix used a Vox wah Silvertop, and I remember saving up money again and getting the Vox Silvertop wah, which is hung up there in its little boot bag. And as soon as I got that wah pedal, I was like, "You're going away." I can't sell this because I've got so much attachment to it, and also I like it for certain things every now and again. Very rarely, bear in mind. But there are certain things every now and again where a Crybaby does something. It does something a normal, the Vox and the Ibanez doesn't do. But as soon as I got the Vox, it got put in the box and never really came out again. But I don't really like the Crybaby as a wah-wah pedal. I don't find it very expressive. I don't like its voice. I don't like the way it sings. I just don't find it a very conducive wah-wah pedal to the way I want a wah pedal to sound. I really want it to be expressive, and I don't really get that expression out of the Crybaby. To me, the Crybaby's more. I want to. This is wrong, people of YouTube. So don't quote me on this one. This isn't what I mean, but this is the only way I can think of it. The Crybaby to me is more of an effect, whereas the Ibanez wah and the Vox Silvertop are more an expression. You know what I mean? Like, the Crybaby goes wow, 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 like that kind of thing. It just does the wah thing. Whereas the Ibanez can do that, and the Vox can do that, but they also help express what I want to say. Like, there's quite a lot of time I will just turn the wah pedal on and just stand on it and just leave it in certain positions. Or just turn it on full tilt, or have it all the way back turned on and get different tones out of it. I never found I could do that with a Crybaby, and to this day, I still can't do that with a Crybaby. I know people who can. I just personally can't because, like I said, I just don't like its voice. It just doesn't work for me. So do I think a Crybaby is a good wah pedal? Yeah, it is, but for me, it's not. I wouldn't buy another Crybaby in my life. I'll have this one until I'm not here anymore, and then it'll go to somebody else. But that's the only one I'll ever need. You know what I mean? Because I just don't use them enough. I actually did a thing on mine, which is I'll quickly show you, people of the tube. It's another super awesome pedal, people of the tube. the Roto vibe. Love that pedal. Okay, but this, like I say, this is my Crybaby. I've had absolutely donkey's years. Like I say, I used it a lot, absolutely tons. But so yeah, this is. I painted the top in. It was actually Tipex pen. I painted it white because the gigs I was doing at the time, we were playing kind of like stages with lights. And I couldn't see the wah pedal, so I painted the top of it. Quite. It was like a zebra. I painted the top of it white, and because I couldn't see it otherwise, so I painted the top of it white. And also another thing I did, I actually got rid of the feet under this, like I do with my Vox wire. I get rid of the feet like Jimi Hendrix did, so it's easy to turn on. Then I found that the Crybaby doesn't do that. So I had to put these little kind of like, their feet off a pedal in there again, so I could get it back to how it was. But for some reason, I remember reading in a guitar magazine the year I got this, 2003 when I got this. I remember reading in a guitar magazine. It was an interview with Zakk Wylde, and I was finding this pedal really hard to turn on and off. And it was because the felt spacer in the top here, it just gave, it's just like a little felt spacer. So when, so it's like that. As soon as you turn it on, it just folded. So it made it really hard to turn on and off. And I was reading this article with Zakk Wylde, and he said what he did is he put I think it was like a 1 cent piece or something like that. It was some American coin. He glued it into the top. And he said, because I did that, it makes it easier to turn on and off because it's not felt, it's metal, touching metal, so it's easier to turn off and on. So I was like, oh, that's a great idea. So I've glued did I glue or blue tack? One or the other. I've glued a 1 pence piece into the top of this, into the top of my Crybaby. There you can see it. Yeah, there. So I glued a 1 pence piece into the top, and he was right. Worked a treat. So people with a tube, a little bit of a tip for you there. If your Crybaby's, it's very dusty. Which is weird because it's been in a box. But if your Crybaby's hard to turn on, put a penny or a coin and glue it to that top felt rubber thing, and it makes it a lot easier to turn on because it's metal on metal, which means it's just not as hard. So yeah, there you go. Tip of the day. Thank you, Mr. Zakk Wylde. But like I say, I don't like the sweeps of Crybabies either. I can demo that quick. One sec, people of the tube. As soon as I got this wah pedal, as soon as I got the Vox, the whole world opened up to me of what a wah pedal can do more than just go wah wah. And it's mainly because of the sweep. So if you look at the Vox Silvertop, which is going to be quite hard. Hey, look, you can see the camera. Look how far the pedal goes up and comes down. That's toe down, so that's just clicked on, and look how easy it is to turn off and on. I mean, my God, how perfect. But look at the sweep. So that's heel back, toe down. So it's absolutely huge. You've got so much sweep in this pedal, and that's why this is my favourite wah pedal of all time. Fair enough, I don't use it, but it will always be my favourite wah pedal, and it's so loose now. I've used it so much, and also it looks super cool. I just don't think you can beat how cool the Vox Silvertop looks. But yeah, so I was open to a whole new world. Like, oh, all the fluff on the bottom of it. Anyway, lot of sweep, lot of travel. So there's a lot of expression in this. Tons of expression in this. Whereas, with Mr. Crybaby, look, there's barely anything. There is enough to go, wah. Where, I don't know if I can... Let's try and do this. This is difficult to do. But, yeah. So they're about level there, I think. Yeah. So you can see the Vox is substantially higher than the Crybaby. So you've got more expression with this, and that was the point. And that's what I wanted. I wanted to be able to turn this thing on and just leave my foot on it and just kind of manipulate it very minutely to get certain different emotions out of it. Whereas I couldn't do that with this. This just went wah 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 wah, and I just didn't like that. So yeah. So is a Crybaby a good wah wah pedal? Yes, but depends on what you want from a wah wah pedal. For me, this didn't do what I wanted, whereas this did. So so it is a great wah wah pedal. But, you know, they're an industry standard. You know, who doesn't use a Crybaby? Who hasn't used a Crybaby at some point? You know, everybody's used one of these things. It's so heavy. I mean, this thing weighs an absolute ton. It weighs a ton. Everybody, there you go. There's a new measurement, weight measurement there. Ton. Anyway, but yeah, this thing is super heavy. But like I say, there's no voice in it. Whereas this has got a big voice. You know, it's a lot more voice, and it's also a lot lighter as well. But yeah, I mean, they are great, but you have to ask, what do you want from a wah wah pedal before you get it? Because, like I say, if you just want a wah pedal that goes wah wah wah, and you can do stuff like, you know, Kirk Hammett and people like that, then this is the way to go. But if you want a bit more expression and a bit more sing, you know, you want to go for something like a Vox, you know. So you actually said, yeah, what other one would you recommend? This one. So this is the that one. Yeah, the V847. I do apologise about all the hair on it, everybody. But yeah, this is the wah pedal I would always recommend to anybody because it's just immense and I love it to bits, and it's just amazing. Amazing. Best wah pedal in the world to me, in my opinion. But yeah, and it comes in a really cool boot bag, which I really, really like, which is what they came back in the day. Anyway, I had an old one that I sold to my friend Dan. It was like from the 80s. 90s. And I sold it to my friend Dan. I shouldn't have done that, and that was very silly of me. Idiot. But, oh yeah, and also make sure it's a silver top. Make sure it's that one. Because there is a one with a black top, and it's just not very good. But, again, totally, you know, what you want. Okay, so you also said, can you get John Frusciante's tone with a Crybaby? No. It doesn't have the sweep. It doesn't have the voice. Oh, and also check out the battery compartment. It's just masking. It's just gaffer taped on because it broke. Many times actually. I actually lost this for a long time. I couldn't find it, so it was just gaffer tape over it. But yeah, that's the model of this one, people, YouTube. If anybody's interested, the GCB 95. But yeah, so can you do John Frusciante with a Crybaby? Not really, no, because it doesn't have the right voice. It doesn't have the right sweep. It doesn't really have the power. So not really, no. It doesn't really do it. You're better off with this pedal. This is the closest pedal I've found to the Ibanez. This actually has more sweep than the Ibanez. This actually, with toe down, screams more than the Ibanez does. This actually has a lot more travel than an Ibanez wah. But if you boost this with like an overdrive or a distortion pedal, just mild overdrive or distortion, you can get this to sound like an Ibanez wah. You know, close enough anyway, definitely for government work. So you can't really do the John Frusciante thing with a Crybaby. No, I mean I've seen John with a Crybaby, but it's very rare. But for me, the Vox Silvertop, this one here, this is the best. Next choice next to the Ibanez wah, personally, for me. So this is the one I'd recommend. Nom, 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 nom. Attack of a Kill Vox. Anyway. So yeah, but like I said, I just don't like the fact this has got no torque. It's just got no expression to it whatsoever. And I got this out a while back to just have a play. And I think I played on it for literally about a minute, if that, before I put it away again. Because it just doesn't do it. It just doesn't do it for me. It just doesn't. Great pedal, like I say, I love it. Never get rid of it. But hence I've still got all its box and bag. But I'm a bit of a stickler for that. I like keeping all the boxes, unless it's something I definitely know I'm not. You know, unless the box is rubbish. But like I say, I mean it's just your choice at the end of the day. I mean I would always recommend going out and trying as many of these things as you humanly can. Because your experience will tell you whether you like it or you don't like it. You know, it's still bothering me about how much that cost, the Crybaby, because I'm pretty sure for some reason I want to say 60 quid, but I swear it was only like 40 or something like that. It was something stupidly. It was a lot cheaper than they are today. Let's put it that way. I forget. Anyway, but can you do John with Crybaby? No. You're better off getting like something like a Vox Silvertop. But yeah, so yeah, anyway, yeah, that's it. Crikey. There was nothing else to that question. Okay, so I hope I answered your question. I hope I answered your questions okay today, people of the tube. Like I say, if you want to submit a question for A&Q Wednesday, go to description box below and email me there. There's an email link. Email me there. There we go. And I hope your question is okay. I'll see you again on Friday for another vid. I have no idea what it is, but that's okay. And I'll see you again. Have a great morning, afternoon, and good evening. And goodbye now. Thanks so much for watching.